Hello and welcome to Mente de Madre Leona. I am your host, Christina. It's so good to be with you all today. Today we are doing Season 3, Episode 2. Super exciting. I have taken a little bit of time back from my podcast. I did an awesome collaboration on Hannah Wiz's awesome Empowering Vibes podcast. If you look up on, any of the big podcast platforms, Empowering Vibes, I think on Instagram, she's under Yoga Junkies Hannah, and she also has this amazing line of yoga monthly boxes. They are so cool. I love monthly boxes. I love little surprises and such. And she's got these ones that are just so incredibly beautiful. I just can't get over them. But Hannah's podcast is so uplifting and motivating. I really encourage you to take a listen. She interviews so many different beautiful souls on her page that have such a wealth of information. And I just feel so blessed to have gotten to get into contact with her and getting to start to follow her journey and getting to talk to her is just amazing. So I really hope that you all will check her out, follow her on her Instagram page. She posts these videos that are so quick, but they are able to just in literally less than 30 seconds give you some really deep information that it's so easy, but it's so deep at the same time, and we can put it into play immediately, and it can change, if you're in a place where maybe you're not feeling a lot of energy, or maybe bad energy, or your vibration is low, or you just need a little bit of pick-me-up, or maybe you're in a great place and you want to get that continuum going. She's just awesome. She is a really beautiful person inside and out. Just wonderful. And she's doing so many exciting things. She's just I'm so excited about her. And she's one of those people when you talk to her, you can't stop smiling. I'm literally smiling just thinking about her because she's just so amazing. She just has this light that shines out from her. So I really hope that you all will check her out. And I'm sure y'all also know that on our episode 1 of season 3 that I interviewed the beautiful Petya Kolobova. She is so amazing as well. She is also interviewed with Hannah, and she is an alignment coach. And I know this is all still so new to me, and to you it may be old hat, but the things that these women are doing are really changing people's lives. And it's so interesting to me that you can do all of these beautiful things that don't take medications. They don't take going to doctors and therapists. And those things can be so necessary at times. But there are other places in our lives that we can grow and learn. And these other people that are, whether they're alignment coaches, life coaches, all different types of people that can help to guide you through different periods of life that maybe you need that. And just being able to have all of that type of information at our hands to watch through platforms like YouTube, Instagram, podcasts, Facebook is so awesome because you get a little bit of a taste of what they're doing. And then if you feel drawn to put that into play in your own life one-on-one, you can actually reach out to these beautiful people and say, hey, this is where I'm at. Is that something that you might be able to help me out with? And they're very intentional about who they choose to work with. So they're not just trying to take money and throw a bunch of words in your face. They're really trying to make sure that they're paired up with people that they feel they can communicate with and actually guide into a higher level and a higher place of learning and living in life. So I hope that you will also check out Petya Kolobova. She is just amazing. And just one of those people, just like Hannah, again, I'm just smiling thinking about her smile. She just has this radiating energy that's so positive. And I hope that one day I can do the same thing for other people. I hope that I can get to that higher level of happiness and energy that just comes pouring out of me, more often. And that's always been something that I've been wishing for. And many years ago, I remember making a New Year's resolution to smile more and to laugh more. And I was in such a dark place in my life. And I remember thinking, like, this is so sad that I am having to be really purposeful in making a New Year's resolution to do that instead of already having that in place in my life. But it made me start to really question where I was in life, the people I had around me, the really negative life that I was leading. And so I think that it was a step forward, even though it was a hard pill to swallow, definitely. But if I hadn't have made that realization that I needed more in my life of the positivity and less of the negativity and less of being kind of used and have my energy taken from me and never really getting anything positive in return. And so I hope that wherever you are in your life, that you'll take account of where you're at and what you want more of and how you can get that. And so these different women that I have been so blessed in the last few weeks or few months to come into contact with, they're just so inspiring to continue to follow their lead, because they weren't there day one, if you listen to their personal stories. And I'll be interviewing Hannah, I believe it's next week on the show. So we'll hear a little bit more about how she's turned her life into her dream life and how exciting that is for her. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update of the fitness and where I'm at on that. So if you've been kind of following my fitness journey, we are coming up on almost 1 year. August 1st, it will have been 1 year since I went back into the gym and started actually training. And of course, day one didn't mean that I was like going all in. It took some time, but that's when I transitioned from home gym back into the gym, because, I had been in the gym some after the birth of my son, but then COVID had hit, and obviously, that shut down the gyms for everybody, and I didn't go back for a long time. So coming up on that 1 year anniversary is pretty exciting, and to see the changes, it's really encouraging. So if you have followed any of my posts, my videos or pictures, you may have seen a little bit of a change in my muscle structure, and definitely I've gotten larger. I never thought in my life that I'd be so excited to be able to wear the jeans that I was wearing when I was like immediately postpartum, but it's because of the high level of muscle that I have gained. So that's really exciting to have worked so hard and to have results that tremendous. So I had told you all that I was doing some of this bulking where I had moved off of being keto, carnivore, ketovore, and had started adding back in some carbohydrates to be able to start bulking, and along with taking protein supplements, very clean ones. I'm not taking these ones that are full of chemicals and sucralose and all of these things. Not that I don't have them in the cabinet. Believe me, I've got some of that stuff up there, but that's not what I take. So I have seen a really good increase in volume of muscle, and I've been feeling really strong, really, really good. And I'm sure you all are very well aware that I cannot do the vegetables big time. A little bit here and there I can tolerate a little bit. It's not that I don't like them. Don't ever get me wrong. Like, I love spinach, I love sweet potatoes, I love kale, but it's the effect that it has on my body that makes it, a negative for me. And I wish that it wasn't that way. Recently, though, I have been going even a little bit different, a different path. I want to start a little bit different approach to eating while I'm doing all of this muscle gaining. And so I've been starting to look at my caloric intake instead of focusing on fats and carbohydrates. And after being on the keto path for over 5 years, that is a huge transition. And so it's been very eye-opening the last few days. And I haven't tracked my calories in years, many years. And I got my Fitness Pal downloaded again. And I am just completely shocked going back into tracking calories of how different it is. And there's such different thoughts on all these different methods of eating, focusing on the calories versus the carbs versus the fat. And other people just say, just fill your plate with colors and veggies and fruits and nothing else, and you don't ever have to worry about it. Well, carnivore was the same way. I could eat all I wanted, and I didn't ever have to worry about gaining any weight. So it's really, really depends on, what your goals are and what you're trying to do. For me right now, I want to really see a little bit more of the muscle that I have gained. So I am doing a very little bit of a decrease in my calories just for a little bit to see a little bit more of that muscle definition. And I have to be really, really careful because I don't want to go to the opposite extent where I start losing muscle or I'm not feeling well, any of that type of stuff. So it does mean, though, that you have to, when you're eating on a caloric deficit, and I don't even like that word. I know people talk about it all the time, but you do have to really think about the things that you're eating, that they've got to be really packed full of all the things you want to get. So, like chicken is going to have a higher level of protein, a lower level of fat. So it's a lower level of calories versus having that big steak that I normally would eat and not worry about any of the fat and know that I'm getting enough protein. So I'll keep you guys posted of kind of how that goes. I took a little picture the other day at the gym of kind of what I looked like, posted it, and I'm sure you guys know I'm not the type to usually post bikini pictures or anything like that. So we'll see how this goes. But I think you can definitely see enough in my gym shorts and my tank top to see, in a couple of weeks, we'll see how this caloric deficit is going. And I do apologize. My allergies are a little bit extra right now with the extreme Oklahoma heat and lack of rain. I keep praying for more rain. So today, guys, I wanted to just talk really quick about never giving up. And I think in my life, that's one thing that I've always been able to do is I've never given up. And I've always continued to be determined. I've always had determination. And I've always believed that was the number one talent that I had, was that I was determined to be successful, whether that be in happiness, my relationships, whatever it is. I'm not going to give up until I'm no longer here. I will not give up. And I will try and try and try. And I'm never going to give up. And many years ago, I was sitting in church and I had a pastor. He'd been my pastor throughout numerous churches. Our paths kept crossing, and just a wonderful man, absolutely wonderful man. His wife, phenomenal. I loved them both very, very much. But Pastor Gurrell, he leaned over the pulpit and he looked straight at me. And this is a huge congregation in Oklahoma City, huge, a very prominent church. And, all the services were online. I don't know if they still are today, but he leaned over the pulpit and he was giving this amazingly moving sermon. He always related things back to his life in such an amazing way. He didn't beat on the Bible or anything like that. He really gave strong life lessons. And I really loved that. He didn't give these extreme cases and of, you got to do this and that to be like this person in the Bible. He really focused on helping you to live a better life. And that for me was a little bit different than some other churches that I had been to before and after. But as Pastor Gurl was giving this really amazing sermon, he turned and he looked at me. I'm going to try not to cry. But he said, never give up. And then he leaned forward over that huge pulpit and he said again, never give up. And I mean, I could not tear my eyes away from his. And then he said it numerous more times. And that moment will always stick with me. And I don't know if it was just meant to help me get through the times that I was about to go through that were so incredibly dark that I could have given up during those times. But his voice became so intense, and it was like he was just shouting at me. And I was definitely relieved when he leaned back and moved on in his sermon. But it shook something very deep inside of me. And I'll never let that go. And I hope that you also can cling to that. You know, to me, that's the lioness within us, that strength, that deep inner strength. That when we cling to that, when we know it's there, when we believe it's there, we know we can conquer anything. We can get through anything, whether it's illness, grief, difficult times in our relationships, difficult times going through our careers, whatever the case may be, or parenting. That's incredibly hard, and it doesn't ever get easier. There are, seasons of all of these relationships that can be so difficult, and we have to really dig deep and hang on to that inner courage that we have, that inner strength, and we can't give up, because the moment we say this divorce, the end of this job, the end of this relationship, whatever the case may be, or I'm giving up on this workout process or this, new eating regimen, whatever the case may be, the minute you give up and you stop, that's when you lose. But when you say, this divorce isn't going to get the best of me, I'm not going to be bitter. This is hard, and this is really difficult, and a lot of things are going to change. A whole lot of things are going to change, but this is an opportunity. When you see that a relationship is really difficult, when you see it as an opportunity of growth instead of turning the other way and allowing it to be a failure, you can't give up. When you see that something's not working in your health and you're still ill, but you don't give up. You know that the pain at some point may pass as long as you persist forward on trying to find the thing that can help you. And that may take years, but you can't ever give up. And when you see that maybe it's really hard to start that new fitness plan, but as long as you keep at it and never give up, you haven't lost anything. Yeah, you can try different things. That's okay. But don't ever give up, because you're worth all of your time, all of your effort, all of your passion. You are worth it. Don't ever give up on yourself or any of your dreams, any of your goals. And there are so many times where we don't feel motivated, and times do feel overwhelming, or we just don't seem to have that hope, especially in our current world situation. It can seem so hopeless. It seems like everything is costing more and more and more, and there's more and more division, and it's just very heartbreaking. But we can choose to not give up. We can choose to keep moving forward and making there be light in our own worlds, our own little areas of the world. So guys, I really hope that wherever you are today, that it's beautiful and you're happy and you are filled with joy. And I hope that you really, truly will take this message to heart, that when there are those challenging times, that you will never give up, that you will persist through the dark times. Because when those times come that are beautiful and happy, you'll reflect that there's no pain in those times, or you'll really appreciate what you're surrounded by, the beauty, so much more than before. So guys, I really look forward to talking to you all again next week with Miss Hannah from Yoga Junkies Hannah. Again, I hope you will go check her out, along with Petya from last week's interview, or the week before, I'm sorry. And guys, I just appreciate y'all so much. Have a beautiful day.